Alarms tore through the station before I even opened my eyes. Red light spilled across the walls of the labor deck, and every worker around me froze in place. Something was wrong, something big. A guard grabbed my arm and pulled me up from the floor before I could even stand on my own. "Move," he snapped. "The princess wants to see you, now." My heart pounded. Being called by name on this station never meant anything good. I had lived here for 18 years, ever since the war took everything from me. And in all that time, no royal had ever asked for me by name. The corridor outside the labor deck buzzed with tension. Officers ran past carrying scanners, shouting orders into their communicators. A ship had entered restricted space near the station, and nobody knew if it was friendly or not. The whole base was on lockdown, and somewhere in the middle of that chaos, I was being dragged toward the command deck. The guard shoved me through a set of heavy doors, and there she stood. Princess Kalith, silver skin, sharp golden eyes, dressed in armor that shimmered even under the flickering emergency lights. She looked furious, and not just because of the alarms. "This is him?" she asked, glancing at the guard. "Yes, Your Highness. The one who caused the malfunction in Sector 9. My stomach dropped. I had not caused any malfunction. I had been sleeping when the alarms went off. "I did not touch Sector 9, I said quickly. "I was resting when the alarms started." Kalith stepped closer, her eyes locked on mine, filled with disgust. "Of course you would say that. Humans always have an excuse. Weak minds always find a way to lie their way out of trouble. I am telling the truth." "You people never tell the truth," she snapped. "You crawl, you beg, and when something goes wrong, you blame everyone but yourselves. It is exactly what my father did." The room seemed to shrink around me. My chest tightened, but I kept my voice steady. "Your father? Do not test me," she warned, stepping even closer. "My father was human, like you. Weak, like you. He left my mother the moment things became difficult. He ran when the war started, instead of staying to protect us. That is what your kind does. You run, you lie, and you break everything you touch." Somewhere behind her, a screen flashed a warning. The unknown ship near the station was moving closer, and officers scrambled to raise the shields. The room buzzed with fear, but Kalith did not turn away from me. Her anger burned brighter than the emergency lights. "I never ran from anything," I said quietly. "Do not speak unless you are asked to speak." Another officer rushed in, breathless. "Princess, the ship is not responding to our signals. We need every high-ranking officer at the bridge immediately." Kalith turned sharply. "Lock this one in a holding cell until I return. I want answers about Sector 9 when this crisis is over." The guard grabbed my arm again, but before he could pull me away, another alarm rang through the station, sharper and louder than before. The lights flickered, then went completely out for 2 full seconds before the backup power kicked in. "The ship just breached the outer shield," someone shouted from the hallway. "We need identity scans on every person in this section. Now, command orders." A medical officer rushed in with a small scanning device, moving quickly from person to person, checking identities against station records. This was standard protocol during any security breach. Every single person needed to be verified, human and Viharati alike, no exceptions. The officer reached me, pressed the scanner against my wrist, and waited for the beep. Instead, the device let out a long, sharp tone. He frowned, checked it again, then looked at his screen with confusion. "That is strange," he muttered. "This is showing a match to a restricted genetic file." Kalith, who had almost reached the door, stopped walking. "What restricted file?" she asked, turning back. The officer looked nervous. "It belongs to the royal bloodline records, Your Highness. I have never seen this alert trigger before." The room went silent, except for the distant sound of alarms still echoing through the station. Kalith walked back slowly, her eyes narrowing at the scanner screen. "Show me," she said. The officer turned the device toward her. Her golden eyes moved across the data, and her expression shifted from confusion to disbelief. "This cannot be right," she whispered. "Your Highness, the system does not make mistakes with bloodline verification. It is designed to be perfect." I stood frozen, watching her face change from anger to something far more fragile. My mind raced back 18 years, to a woman named Sarana, to a summit on this very station, to promises made before everything fell apart. I had been told she died in the evacuation. I had been told my child died with her. "What is your name?" Kalith asked me, her voice suddenly quiet. "Daniel," I answered. "Daniel Hart." Her hands trembled slightly. My mother's name was Sarana. The world seemed to stop moving around me. Even the alarms in the background faded into nothing. "That was the name of the woman I loved," I said, "before the war took her from me. before they told me she was gone, along with our child. Kalith stared at me, her breathing uneven. That is not possible. My mother told me my father abandoned us. She said he ran when the fighting started. I did not run, I said, my voice breaking slightly. I was captured the moment the war began. They dragged me onto a transport ship in chains. I spent months trying to find out what happened to her, and every answer I received said she was dead, that both of you were dead. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The ship outside the station fired another warning shot, and the entire base shook slightly from the impact against the outer shield. Officers shouted louder in the hallway, trying to coordinate a response, but none of it seemed to reach us in that small, frozen moment. The bloodline system does not lie, the officer said carefully. If you want absolute confirmation, a deeper scan can be performed immediately, but it takes several minutes to process. Do it, Kalith said without hesitation. The officer moved quickly, connecting a secondary device to both of us. Lights blinked steadily as data transferred between the machines. Every second felt heavier than the last. Outside the room, the fight against the unknown ship intensified, but inside, only one question mattered. The scanner beeped twice, then displayed a clear result on the screen. A perfect match. Father and daughter. Kalith's hands covered her mouth as she stared at the confirmation. Her golden eyes filled with something I had never expected to see from her, something soft beneath all that royal pride. You are truly my father, she whispered. I never stopped searching for you, I said. Even after they told me you were gone, some part of me refused to believe it. Before either of us could say more, the entire station shook violently. Sparks flew from a nearby panel, and red emergency lights blinked faster than before. The unknown ship has broken through the secondary shield, an officer shouted from the hallway. All defense units to the outer ring immediately. Kalith turned toward the door, her instincts as a leader taking over, despite the emotional storm inside her. Then she looked back at me, and for the first time, there was no anger in her eyes. Come with me, she said. I am a prisoner, I reminded her. I am not permitted near the command deck. Not anymore, she said firmly. You are the father of the crown heir. No guard will stop you while I am standing beside you. The guard who had dragged me earlier stepped back immediately, unsure of what to do. Kalith did not wait for permission. She grabbed my arm, not with force this time, but with something closer to trust, and pulled me toward the corridor. Explosions echoed somewhere near the outer ring, as engineers fought to reinforce the failing shield. Officers ran past us, shouting coordinates and system updates. The entire station trembled with each impact, but Kalith moved forward with steady determination, and I stayed close behind her. We reached the bridge just as another wave of impact rocked the station. Screens flickered with images of the unknown vessel firing again at the weakened shield point. Officers worked frantically at their stations, trying to reroute power to reinforce the barrier before it collapsed completely. Divert auxiliary power to the north shield array, Kalith ordered, stepping into command with a voice that left no room for hesitation. Redirect everything from non-essential systems immediately. The bridge crew scrambled to follow her commands. Within moments, the shield stabilized, and the attacking ship, unable to break through, retreated into the darkness of space as quickly as it had appeared. A heavy silence followed, broken only by the sound of relieved breathing throughout the bridge. The threat had passed, at least for now. Kalith turned to me, her expression soft despite the exhaustion clear on her face. You stayed close to me during all of that. Of course I did, I said. I just found my daughter after 18 years. I was not about to lose her again. For the first time since I had met her, Kalith almost smiled. It was small, uncertain, but real. I said terrible things to you earlier, she admitted quietly. You believed what you were told, I said. That is not something to be ashamed of. What matters now is what we choose to believe going forward. She nodded slowly, looking at me with an expression that mixed relief, disbelief, and something gentler beginning to grow underneath it all. I have many questions, she said. About my mother, about you, about everything I was never told. I have 18 years of answers, I said. We have time now to go through all of them. Outside the viewport, the stars shone steadily once again, calm after the chaos that had just passed. The station hummed quietly as repairs began, and for the first time since the war took everything from me, I felt something close to peace settle into my chest. Kalith stood beside me, no longer looking at me as an enemy or a stranger, but as someone she was only beginning to understand. And in that quiet moment, after everything the day had thrown at us, I finally had my daughter standing right beside me.